Yeah, so I have been with NPCI for 8 years and with UPI 4 years. So I'm as old as UPI. So we are 8-year-old. I started my career at NPCI with UPI as a product manager. So it's very close to me. And I think, and I always use this, I don't know if I've used this last time also, what happened in India, and maybe you all can echo this, people who are Brazilians here, be able to echo this feeling which I have. What happened in India is a beautiful orchestration of multiple stakeholders playing, doing their bit just perfectly. It's a perfect symphony which comes across. So the stakeholders which are there in UPI per se, first would like to talk about the regulator. We have a very progressive regulator, the Reserve Bank of India. And this is like going back, UPI happened in 2016, April. And the ideation of UPI happened prior to that, like about 1.5 years before. It took us about 16 to 18 months to build UPI and to launch it. So the ideation, the prep happened at least 2 years in advance. And this discussion of UPI, or maybe we never knew it was UPI, it was always to build a real-time payments platform. Inspirations and discussions on open banking-based real-time payments platform was across the world. Europe to be starting with, we're talking about PSD2. But the successful implementation perhaps is what happened in India, and that is credit to as a regulator, because there were a lot of nuances which need to be worked around this piece, the regulatory piece. If you go back before 2016 or any other place, maybe like South America's classic example where you're not a bank ready to open up their customer base, right? For interoperability or whatsoever, for this goodness. So that is something which required a lot of warming up in the ecosystem. I think regulator did a fantastic job with it, bringing together people, banks, the ecosystem. While NPCI is the operator, one critical piece of job is to align people. And I think the regulator was very good at it. Second is, of course, the impetus to this volumes which you're talking about, 15 billion transaction is what we have done in September. The numbers are not updated. So 15 billion transactions per month is what we have reached. Now these transactions have happened because other than the regulator and the ecosystem, there was an important factor in India, which was the government. So the government really had a couple of initiatives with respect to campaigns, incentive programs, which actually fired up volumes, adoption, to scale the volumes as such. So that's a second entity I could bring and talk about. Third being, of course, very critical, and that is the banks. And I spoke about they opening up the ecosystem and their customer base for interoperability, and especially very important to allow fintechs to get access to their customer base and provide solutioning. That is you really need to have a big heart to do this. And I think that was really critical from banking perspective. Last to mention, another critical stakeholder is the fintech. While we provide the platform, banks provide their customer base or their interoperability or regulatory settlement piece and all these kind of things which are there. But in a country like India, which is like 1.4 billion population, and we have multiple tiers in our country. So imagine if you really need to take UPI like customer experience to the 7th tier in India, leave it alone to banks, it might not really happen. All right. I have been a banker myself. It's difficult they have their own challenges with respect to, going to the 6th or any tier beyond 4th tier. So fintechs are the one who have done the solutioning piece on the customer side, on the acceptance side, and that's why they have been the building block. The lacuna which has been there from the consumer to the bank is undertaken by fintech. So that's very important. I think I've answered your question.